Kagure, why is sickle cell anemia endemic to regions like Kenya and in Africa?
So it's higher in the region because it provides some resistance to malaria.
I see. So malaria is a common sickness?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
I've had malaria. Everyone else in my family has had malaria too.
Really?
So, yeah.
What's it like to have malaria?
Malaria is like the flu.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had the flu, but from what people describe the flu as, you get dizzy, you get nauseous, you get achy joints. When I had malaria, I remember being very dizzy enough that the floor seemed very far away and like it was teetering. And you're just kind of out of it. You get a fever, the usual.
And how does malaria spread?
Malaria is spread through mosquitoes.
Through mosquitoes? And so the best way to combat that then is just like bug spray or bug nets or something?
So the best way would be, you don't want to have pools of water, stagnant water outside your home because they're attracted to that. So if you had a drum of water just sitting outside your window, you're going to get a bunch of mosquitoes just hanging out waiting for nighttime or whenever. You also want to have a mesh screens on your windows and doors so that when you do need to open your windows, bugs can't get in. And then another way, if you can't do all of that, is you need to have mosquito nets over your beds at night because that's the time when they're likely to strike, when you're just kind of lying there and still.
Wow. So you're pretty sure, most people are sure then, that if they get malaria, it's because, a mosquito bit them at some point probably.
Yes.
And so it's pretty common. You've had it, you said everyone in your family's had it?
Right.
Do people get it multiple times?
Yes.
See, is there a treatment for it?
There is treatment for malaria. You go to the hospital or clinic or your doctor and you get medication. I'm not sure what it was exactly. I think we take it for granted because it's so common. You just go and they prescribe you something and you get better.
Nice. How long does it take to get better?
I know people who will go back to work or to school after 3 days, and then I know people who will stay homesick for a few weeks. It just depends on the person and how early you caught it as well. I tend to catch mine early because my stomach hurts, and then for me that's the main symptom, and then I can't ignore that. Whereas with others, if they're just feeling a little under the weather, they'll think to themselves, I'm just a little tired, I'll go home.
So you mentioned that the reason sickle cell anemia is higher in Kenya is because it provides some resistance to malaria, but if you have one allele for the sickle cell, how exactly does it provide resistance?
So I think what it is when you have sickle cell anemia is that your red blood cells are crescent shaped, and this makes them resistant to infection from the parasite.
I see. So it's sort of a trade-off then. I mean, sickle cell anemia doesn't sound like a good thing, but neither is malaria. And
true.
So if it provides some advantage, then that's probably why it's more prevalent in the region.
Yeah, I think that's true. But then, isn't there something about sickle cell anemia where you don't live past where more people with sickle cell anemia will not live past a certain age? And so in that way, with malaria, you can get treatment and live to be 80, and then with sickle cell anemia, you're more likely to have a shorter lifespan.
That's a really good point. So while if you have sickle cell anemia, you have to have 2 copies of the allele to have sickle cell. If you're just a carrier, you have 1 copy, which provides resistance against malaria too, but you don't have any of the symptoms of anemia. But you raise a really interesting point, though, that actually our treatment of malaria means that there's no natural selection happening as much, or there's not as much happening because you don't need the sickle cell allele to protect you from malaria as much because now we have drugs, right? So you're not going to die from malaria as frequently when we have drugs. And now that means that, okay, the sickle cell allele actually isn't being naturally selected for anymore. So although we have drugs to treat malaria and help you get better, sickle cell anemia, the allele still exists, but actually it's not being selected for anymore. But it's still prevalent in the region. But as you move away from regions that are stricken with malaria, you don't see the sickle cell allele at all, really. if you could give advice to somebody who either is going to a region with malaria or is, grown up in a region and has just gotten malaria for the first time, do you have any advice of what to do when you get malaria?
Well, first of all, for someone going to an area that has malaria, I would say you need to go get your anti-malaria tablets. You want to be prepared because you probably don't have resistance to the parasite yet. And so it's important to go to a travel clinic or wherever and get something, anti-malaria pills. For someone who's having it for the first time, see a doctor. Don't take chances. Don't let it stay too long because it can kill you. And that's pretty much it. Don't freak out. There's treatment.